Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. I've always been having this bad blood with Teams. But I'm not here. I'll be sharing in a few. Please confirm that you can see my Figma screen.
Yeah,
We can see it.
Yes, thank you. Apologies for that. I'm Kelvin Mutiso, a UX UI designer trained, turned into product designer over time. Currently at Quora. Quora deals with SACCOs. We provide solutions for SACCOs. Henceforth, it's a solution that we develop. It's a SaaS fintech. Been working as a UX UI designer for a while now, 3 years and counting down the line. I think that's the much I can say. What else? Hold a bachelor's in computer science from Rera Uni. I think that's enough intro about me. So I want us to start off, and the first thing I'd look forward to is starting with a short icebreaker. I don't know if you guys are open. I could share. It's been a while since I used Teams, so just in case I'm having issues, please bear with me. I now can't see the chat. Stopping sharing and then sharing again. Just a minute. I get some things right over here. So yeah, we'd start. I want to start with some questions, like icebreakers. The first thing would be, I'd be shooting questions here. Let me actually. So, first question I'd want to ask is, if you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would you choose and why? Sorry, it's starting off now. But if you are to hang out with a cartoon character, who would you choose? Do you guys hear me? Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will. How do you want us to answer? Would you like us to just unmute and answer?
Yeah, unmute and answer. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So the question is, if we could hang out with any cartoon character, what?
Who would you choose and why? A cartoon character.
I guess I would hang out with Avatar Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so cool and on all these powers, earth, air. Anyone who's watched Avatar would know what I'm saying. Yeah.
And if you are to do Avatar, which of the three, is it 3 or 4, superpowers Like if you had to pick one.
Probably air, because Avatar and alionyesha it's quite nice. So air.
Yeah, interesting. Someone else?
Hi,
Hi. Yes.
it's Collins.
That's good.
I think I'd go with Rick from Rick and Morty. If you watched Rick and Morty, everyone knows who Rick is. He's the let's say the smartest man in the universe, and actually he's the smartest man in all the universe. So I guess I'd go with Rick, and yeah.
Rick and Morty. Interesting. One more.
I would say Morty from Rick and Morty, so that I can learn from the smartest person who is Rick.
So you'd learn from me.
Well, yes. No, I'll be learning. I'll be learning
Hello.
from Rick.
Yes.
Hey, I'm Moses. And for me, we'll go with Kipo.
With who?
Kipo.
Where from?
Okay. It's an adventurous movie. So I love adventure, and monsters. So we'll go with Kipo.
Keeper. Interesting. Interesting. It's funny how we fancy characters. Like it's like we'd want like even waking up one day being one of them. I think a second one. Sorry guys, I can't see when you raise hand and I can't pick you up. I've been having issues with Teams, so I think I'm a guest. So maybe Davis or Glorious. Someone could be pointing out the raised hands.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I hear you.
Here.
Sorry?
Whitney. Yeah.
Yes, Whitney. Hi.
Excuse me. Hang on to the character. It would be Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins. I really admire how he manages to stay calm and handle any obstacles that he faces, and also any one of his team members faces. So I'd really like to learn how to be that calm in the deadliest of situations like he does.
Nice. Handling situations. That's quite one to pick. Thanks. The second one and the last one. If you had a time machine, would you go back or would you go to the future? Please, you can just unmute yourself and answer. I can't see when you raise hands. Anyone?
I have a question to your question.
Yes.
If it's going back in time, do I go back with the knowledge I have or just back in time?
How would you prefer it?
If it's with the knowledge I have, then going back in time. If it's without the knowledge, then let's go to the future.
What if you alters when you go back in time and alters like today, the present, like in Flash? Hard one.
I would like.
Yes.
I would like to go back in time. So much, but now it's like teleporting, right? Like going back, going forward. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah. I would like to go fast ahead, but do you consider age also?
What or how would you prefer it? Would you like to go the same age or a
I would
different?
prefer to go back because of age.
Because
Of age.
you go and come back again younger.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. I'd want us to jump off real quick. So we'd start with sorry. So there'll be prizes at the end of the session. The first, this will be Davis. Davis, you here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So you'll be the one taking note of who answers the question. You'll tell me who's number one, who's number two, and who's number three.
Sure.
Thank you. Cool. So yeah, we could watch out. So how I've structured it is we have things in between, all the way from design thinking, picking up from where Ruben left the other time, and then continuing it up to defining the problem statement. So there are quite a number of things I'd want us to look at. Empathy being one of them, like the first, actually, it's the first step in design thinking. Yeah. So we'll heavily be on empathizing and then slightly on define for this session. I believe we'll have enough time to go through it. We'd also want to look at this session as a UXR focused session where we begin with finding who the users are and how to even go to interview them and how to even select your type of users and all that. So this will be in the session. Yeah, so I'm glad. So I'd want us to start with the empathize version, understanding the design thinking process, where we first get to understand the requirements that will be required in a design solution. That's where now we do a requirement analysis, find out who we are serving, what problem we are solving. Yeah, so that's there, and then defining is now getting deeper into now finding the exact problems that are in it, and then we do hypothesis and generate ideas around it, brainstorm, prototype, in the end test, and then it's always a loop and it's an agile process, so it'll always be going back and again, so it's no longer waterfall. So yeah, we've done the first agenda. So we now move to empathizing with users. So I want to ask, what's the difference between empathy and sympathy? Like there are two words that have always hit me ever since primary. Someone should an answer. Try out.
Hi, can I try?
Yes, sure, yes.
I think empathy is putting yourself in the other person's shoes. You like try to share the experience, in a way, try to go through what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sympathy is more of you hear about something, but you're not directly involved in it. So you're more of sorry for that person. Yeah, that's my view.
So you can just like listen to them, but you can't really relate because you're not like
Yeah, you can't relate.
Yeah, a good one. Thank you. Someone else? Thank you. Okay, I'll pick. There's none. Next. Oh yes.
I'd say empathy is just as, I think it's Charles who said, putting yourself in someone's shoes, like trying to if it was you in that situation, what would you do? How would you want things done? And sympathy is more of understanding, trying to understand what this person is going through. It's more like pity is involved, mercy, and feeling sorry. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Those are correct answers. In UX, I think we've learned, or rather over time I've learned, there is always like any trial comes close to the right thing. So those are correct answers, I bet. So here we have two GIFs. Pardon, they're a bit blurry. So one is empathy, the one on the left, and then the other one is sympathy. So you can see the two people, the guy and the lady, are like having the same emotions. Like you can feel even they're matching their facial, like the feelings, while the other one is maybe a sorrow, but this one is like the lady, like don't worry, it'll be fine. How we sympathize with people. So deeply, it's the ability to understand someone's feelings and put yourself through it, and thoughts. Maybe in that situation, it could be a lot of things. While sympathy is just acknowledging that they are going through something or they have that kind of feeling, but you keep yourself away from experiencing those feelings. Like you're just watching from afar, but you don't like literally interact, like feel how it goes. So empathy goes way past sympathy, because it's now when we share mental and emotional experiences. Like I can feel how you feeling from how you even say it and you act. We'll look at how we can empathize later. So everything we do is always around empathizing. So how do we empathize with this? I'd say there are a number of ways that we can empathize with users. One is asking a lot of questions. Just ask questions, understand how the other person is feeling, and don't have assumptions. We always have bias before, like there's something I don't like. So I don't give an example. Would be I haven't been good with Teams before. So that would be a bias when I say Teams is not good. But then the other people, like the MSA people that have been using it and it works good for them. So no assumptions. Then we need to ask questions that are directly steered towards the user needs and wants. What exactly do they want? What do they need? Listening from them without wanting to respond back. And then we ask questions like what, like the starting of the questions, the what, the how, the why, so that it's not like a closed-ended question. It's more open-ended. Like they could give one statement and then give an explanation to it as well. So that way we understand more from the user's perspective. The other one is being observant, just watching what they are saying and even observing their body language as well. This is when now interacting with users along the way. Or we can even, for a start, we could start with sharing, like recording the sessions, just so that you can later go back again and look at how they were responding. You asked a question, maybe they said yes, but their reactions were like no. So now that's when you learn that too. There's active listening. So active listening entails more of concentrating on what the person is saying, deeply understanding it, and an ability to remember without getting distracted about what you're going to say next or where the conversation is going. we could be talking, or I could be interviewing you, and you mentioned something, but then I could already start seeing where it's going. So now, when active listening, you're there at that point. When the person moves to the next second, you move with them. You don't move before them. Like you don't, and you don't also feel out their ideas. They could be looking for a word. You could help, but the minute you do, you've already started biasing the question. The other way to empathize is requesting input from people that are not your close friends, colleagues who will want to give you a positive feedback because they support you or please you. So going for diversity and being, and asking open-ended questions like the ones we've seen in the previous slide, more of moving from the questions to ask the what, the how, and the why. Yeah, and being open-minded is the other thing. So leaving your biases aside and then moving ahead. This could be heavily. I could give an example of looking at maybe colors. Maybe I don't like blue. Someone else likes, and then maybe we have to build a design that has blue in it. So you see, now we put our biases aside, not unless it's being backed up by our data. Yeah. So why is empathy important? Out of these answers, someone could share something. Why would you think empathy is important? Why would you want to empathize with users?
You empathize. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, we empathize so that we get to know the real needs the users.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The real needs. Okay. The actual needs, like core ground, how it is. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I think when we empathize with users, we create the right solutions for the right people.
For the right people, yes. It's now right solution for the right people. Yes. Nice. I hadn't thought of that. Nice. Thanks. Someone else?
When we empathize with users, we get to know the problems that they are facing as they interact with your interface or app.
So you get to understand the problems. Okay. Picking out pain points. Something we'll cover in the next within the next session. I mean this session in the next hours. Someone else wanna try out?
When we empathize, we meet the user's requirements, like what they actually need.
You actually get to understand what they need. Yeah, like the first and second answers. Thanks. Really appreciative. So when we empathize with users, it enhances the products we create because we now have data. We now know who the right person is, and we also know what the right problem is. So it's like we're now in the problem. How would we solve it in our best understanding? The better you are at anticipating a user's desires and needs, the more comfortable the user will feel with your design. So anticipating that, like, so you're in that app. So if it's a checkout, you already know they have to click on the checkout button. But you could have an edge case where they want to continue shopping because you now like start engaging with the product. Like you can feel and you can be like there with them. And then it also builds deeper connections with users and understands their perspective and pain points, which is what has been said before. Good. Up to that point, any question? Anyone? I then think no. Okay. Interesting. Okay, awesome. Gloria, I see your hand is up.
Hi, the hand was raised up on the previous question, so sorry.
No worries. Thank you. Cool. Then we've now figured out how to like be with the user, like be in their shoes, like we say it. Now, how do we define what to ask? Like we want to now get to the user. How do we now figure out what to ask in that point? So yeah, determining research goals. You can't just go to a research and an interview to ask people questions, yet we do not have something in mind that we want to achieve. So in this case, we want to ensure that the interviews we conduct are worthwhile, both for us and the participant. We want the participant to feel like, yeah, we're really valuing what they're saying to us. Like, yeah, all the time we will be. In cases where we do not find the right person, rather like the right people, it'll always have the back. And for the user, that like the person being interviewed isn't quite sure what we are asking of them. So when we've defined research goals, it's easier to conduct interviews. Then again, to make the most out of your time together when you're with them, and so we need to like have clear goals for the interview. And as a UX designer, what would you want to learn from the interviews that you're conducting? So now to set the goals. So this just gives a superficial understanding of what research goals are. I'll share a couple of them, or samples here below. Yeah. So some common research goals would be like, I want to identify common user behaviors and experiences with tasks that my product is trying to address. You see, you already know what you're going to research about. So even when you're conducting interviews or any other way of starting that, you already know what you want to achieve. You want to understand user needs and frustrations as they relate to the product you're designing. It's always best to not think of it when starting design, not think of it as design, but think of it more of starting from the problem, like understanding the problem now becomes the user needs and the frustrations. So a problem could be frustration and a problem could be a user need, because if the need is not being met, that's a problem. And if the person is having frustrations while using your product, that's also a problem. So again, you just want to understand the processes, emotions that people experience around the product, that is trying to solve, around the problem the product is trying to solve. So if you're doing a cab delivery, maybe understanding how one is stuck in the middle of the night, they don't know where to go to, but they can always get a cab, so they test, or maybe it's even raining, starting to empathize, and now that helps you get like enough research goals. And then after you've like identified research goals, you move on to interview questions. Now you can ask them. It's always advised that you formulate questions before you go into the interview, so that out of those questions, now you can ask follow-up questions that after they answer one question, they can now move to the other one. So example would be like, can you describe your current schedule and how you balance your responsibilities with meal planning? Maybe this is a question for a food ordering application. Or how often do you order meals from a restaurant? When do you do? What is your motivation for doing so? These are things that makes us understand. Understand what the user really needs and what they want. Like especially like the second statement, when you do, what is your motivation for doing so? We could maybe see it's maybe it's raining, so we need to be having the app running when the weather is not good. We starting to understand. Okay, so people will start using this our application or rather our product at such a time or at such a state. And then the challenges that people face now when ordering in the ordering process. This could be like, is it a blocker? Did they ask for something, or is or does the app not get to your location? How does it make you feel? You feel frustrated? You feel angered? Such kind of things. And is there any way in which you feel these challenges could be solved? That's always a question to have when you're doing interviews and doing research, because you'd also want to know what the user anticipates and expects. They could tell you the problem they have and the user needs they have, but then it's always better to know what they'd want. If they were in your shoes now solving the problem, what would they advocate for? Yeah. Good. Thank you. Questions up to this point? I'm open. Yes. I'm having a hard time. Generator? Yes.
Just a quick question. What if the product is very new? How do you initiate that? Like, what do you even ask? Like, hiko kwa market, sasa tunaanzaje?
Let me find you someone to answer. If I know your name, please be sure I'll call you out. I'm looking at the list here. Who's here? So yes, Luke Tibiko. You around? Winnie Mandela.
Hello, yes.
Oh yeah, yes. Yes, Winnie. Someone wanna try answer that? No?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
The question wasn't really clear. She said, like, if it's a new
product,
then if it's a new product, if you're starting a new product,
that's not in the market. Like that's not that doesn't exist.
Or that doesn't exist.
Or was it that way? Please rephrase.
Because I heard she said something, mtu anaanzaje, something like.
Okay, my question.
You can conduct a survey, like an online survey or something. When you're doing the research.
My question is,
yes.
What interview questions do you ask for a project you've not started? Like, this is not, you can't ask, so far, how do you see the product? Like, rate it, and what do you think we can do better? It's something very new. So, what kind of questions do you ask instead?
I think once you have the problem, you can easily channel it to now the people you want to ask and phrase your questions according to the problem that is existing. That's my take.
Great. Interesting.
Because you're supposed to start with the problem first.
With the problem.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this because I still don't get it. How about you use an example?
Someone, I see some risk. Yeah.
I can go with the questions. So, for example, let's say there's no cooking up in the market, and that's your target market. So some of the questions would be, how many times a week do you cook? Do you use a recipe while you're cooking? What are some of the ingredients you use? You know, that's some of the information that you're getting to use on this other side. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense. Thank you.
It makes sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Arisa, your hand raised.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, okay.
I feel like when you design a product, I feel like you had already had the problem in mind and had some ideas. That's why you come up with a prototype, let the users have a feel about it. Then they get to tell you what is wrong and right, what change, and what you can improve.
You skipped to prototyping, but you haven't because the way you put it is like you move directly into solution without first understanding. Interesting. Someone, Paminas. Thank you, though, Arisa. Paminas.
I think, as it has been said, the problem would guide the questions. So, like for that cooking up, if the problem is trying to shorten the time taken to cook, let's say someone hasn't prepared early enough the ingredients. According to the problem, you can ask them, how many ingredients do you need? Do you write them down or do you memorize them? So according to the problem, the main focus would be getting more information about the problem. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Actually, that makes much more sense. Asking now about the problem, diving deeper into the problem. Last one, Mary. Myra. What's up? Yes.
Just adding to what they have said, a design the design you produce at the end of the process should solve a problem. So your problem should guide your questions for the interview. The problem you're trying to solve, you frame your questions to discover pain points that the user has.
Can I add?
Yes. Mary.
I think at the beginning of the design process, normally people don't really know whether it's the app which will solve the problem or any other thing. So when you're starting, we look at it like we are empathizing with the users so that we get their frustrations. Then after that, that's when now we will know the real problem.
The 5 W's back, the whys. I think I'll pick Mukeli and we move. Last one.
Most important thing is
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
The most important thing when I listen to a question, it's about defining the unknown. So basically, the most important thing you want to do is define the hypothesis of your research and scope it out.
Okay. Hypothesis comes towards the end after problem definition. Mm-hmm. Okay. Poland?
Yeah, well, if I may also say something about the same. What I've really learned that is very important in you getting to understand the user is empathizing with them. And the important thing here is active listening. Now, if you really do active listening, then you will not really miss questions to ask. And this takes me back to most of the times when we are even having conversations with friends, we usually do not know what to say to them because we do not listen to them actively. That is what I can say.
We do not listen actively. Nice. Gloria?
Okay, so her question was mainly about a solution that doesn't exist in the market already. So what I'll say is the questions that you're going to ask should really revolve around whether the world really needs that product, because you also have to see how they're doing things currently, whether it's manually. And you just need to determine if the solution is really needed first before you go into diving into the product itself. That's what I think.
Awesome. Thank you. In the meantime, while we're answering questions, you guys could be tweeting. I believe that's the term of what you're learning from the session as well, so that you don't forget. You could tag MSA ambassadors and myself, Calv, and yourself too, and another person in the session, so that we can also share with the people that maybe didn't make it to attend. I'll drop the tags in a few. Yes, while we finish.
Okay, to add on what Gloria has said, I think when developing a new product, kuna vile like there's a old school way vile watu wanaifanya. So you have to understand them, how they're doing it, and then you start suggesting your product, like even though mnafanya but ukiweza ifanya hivi unaona itakuwa aje. From there they will start seeing your point of view, and you can now try to solve their problem using the new product after they understand the way you want them to be using your product.
Okay, got it. I see all of the hand have talked. Maybe you could lower them. Sharon, in the meantime, the last one, Sharon Chapquart.
Hi.
Hi.
I was kicked out of the meeting, Kiasi, but if I may answer that, what questions one would ask if they want to bring a new product? Maybe you start by asking your users what they were using before you introduce your product, or the alternative way they were doing things, and then from there you can now frame other questions. Thank you.
Okay, got it. So now move back to the problem that you're trying to solve. Ask them how they've been doing it in a legacy way. Yeah, works fine. Someone else with their hand raised? No. Then to sum that up with all the answers that have been given, sometimes we don't really have to be 100% user focused, just asking the users what they need. Sometimes we need to go out of the way and build things that we think are fine. I usually like relating to Henry Ford. Henry Ford, I think, is the guy that made Ford, the first car. So he says, please correct me if I misquote, but he says if you were to ask people what they wanted back then, they would have said they want faster horses, but then he had built a car. So sometimes it's fine to go out of the way and think of now the solution, like I forget the name, but someone suggested that you do a prototype and then give it to the world and then now get feedback. Yeah, that works too. So there's no like waterfall. So you can sometimes skip and then like now come back again and reiterate and refine the solution. We good? But yeah, thanks, Tim. Dropped the last one. Then I think we are fine. So let's move into now, after we've realized we've done research. Maybe we've gone now to the market, climbing to the ground, ask questions, interviews, and everything. Now it's time to build empathy map. So what's an empathy map? It's an easily understood chart that explains everything designers have learned about a type of user. So this time when you're getting to know the right user, this is like a low-level definition. So this time, after we've learned who the user might be, because we're trying to solve a solution for someone, it's more of an hypothesis. If I want someone to walk my dog, that's an hypothesis. Like it's a need, but then who could be wanting to have their dogs walked, like taken out? So yeah, now that's where now we start thinking about the user. So now, what does an empathy map contain? Shoot answers. This is a low-level definition. So now, like a deeper version of empathy map.
User goals.
The goals.
Yeah, goals.
Or what they want.
Yeah.
They want to achieve.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone else? Thank you.
User demographics.
Product requirements.
Sorry?
Product requirements.
Product requirements. Really, but yeah, we'll place that somewhere. I'm listening. Someone else wanna try?
Could we consider the user pain points?
Pain points? Yes, we do. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is an empathy map same as the user journey?
No.
It's different.
It's different.
Okay.
No. Mary?
Hi. So an empathy map has what the user says during an interview, what the user thinks, feels, and there's a fourth one. I can't remember, but there are four.
But that is a user journey map.
No, that's an empathy map. A user journey map is the journey the user actually takes to complete a task, the steps or the process that they take. Yeah. But an empathy map has what the user thinks, says, feels. I think it's feels, and there's a fourth one.
Yeah. I had forgotten.
And does what the user does.
Oh yes, what the user does.
It looks like the cube. The format is cube, like this cube.
Yeah, and the user is at the center.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. You cover that. So yeah, it looks like this. So it covers what the user thinks, says, does, and feels during when you're interviewing or interacting with them. It consists of the 4 squares, like the cubes you've talked about, and it shows that. So it helps like us digest info about different things. Like it could be one ambiguous thing, but now when it's with the empathy map, we can now like split out and know, okay, is it something they feel, and how do they feel about it, or is it something that they think, yeah, and such. I want us to look at an example here. This is someone buying a TV. Picture yourself. There are quite a number of things that they can say. This is like, now empathize with this user. Like now you're the one buying the TV. So it's like you're thinking, is there something different? Or they're not asking you back, or where should I start? Some of the questions that you'd want to ask yourself when even getting a TV. What is the size? What brand do you like? Is it Samsung? Is it TCL? Is it something reliable? Will when heat not break? Or like when it gets water close to it, it's what? Those are things that people ask themselves. So, and then now there's now the thinking that happens inside the head, which is is there something else that you're missing? Are you wasting too much time? You're just thinking all these things happening. You want something awesome. There are acronyms everywhere, like 4K, resolution. Then what is best for yourself? These are things that you think, and then out the field, you feel overwhelmed. Might you get a TV that is not good or bad? You have fear. You may get conned, like the crazy canas when you buy a TV in Githurai, and such, and you're anxious, you're excited, both at the same time. Yeah, and then now the actual doing would be checking websites, GG, Jumia, name them. And then, yeah, or even postpone other bigger decisions or that itself, and then ask friends, or even comparing products. I think we highly do that when even getting a mobile phone. You have to compare like a couple of them. If you're an iPhone person, think all the sizes. I mean, and all the versions. Is it iPhone 12, 12, 13, that way, or is it Android, Samsung, Oppo? Yeah. So yeah, that's an example of an empathy map. Question here, Sharon. I see your hand up.
Yes, I have a question. I don't know if I've gotten it wrong or right, but my question is, how do you know? Okay, let's say it is us making this empathy map as designers, not as the actual person, the user. So, as designers, how do we know how a user thinks, or rather feels? For feels, I feel like you can see the reaction, the facial, But for things, how do you know how a user thinks? For you to conclude, or do you just make assumptions?
Good one. Linda, wanna shoot an answer?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mine was actually a question. It wasn't an answer. But maybe you can try answer a question and then you get back to me.
Sorry. I want to make it. Gloria, you raised your hand after the question.
Okay, just to answer her question in 2 parts. One, we are we are being empathetic. So that means we are putting ourselves in the user's shoe. And by putting ourselves in the user's shoe, we are making assumptions. So mostly for me, I think the empathy map is more of putting myself in the user's shoes and also making assumptions from my point of view. Yeah.
Okay, but I think we missed that point on how do you know what they think. I think that was your main question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone wanna shoot that?
I think it still goes down to making assumptions and also asking them questions. If you are in an interview, like asking them, and then you can just read the facial expressions. You know, sometimes one can say they feel this way, but the facial expression is giving something else. So for me, I think mostly it's about making assumptions and observation. I don't know whether that answers the question. Let me know if it does.
Okay, interesting. Moses?
Okay, for me, I think asking the user the questions can help you understand what the user thinks. For example, using this example, buying a TV, you suggest a TV like Samsung to the user and listen to the answers, what he or she will tell you about what she knows about Samsung TVs. Think, yeah, asking questions can help you know what the user is thinking.
Asking the questions. Thanks, Moses. Chindereta?
Yeah, I think I'll go with what Moses and Gloria have said. Just maybe you can lead them with questions for.
Sorry, I lost you in the last part. You can lead them with questions for? Hello?
I think she dropped off.
Okay, no worries. Sheila, the last one.
Or like how the last participant. You can know how a user, what the user thinks by leading them with a question. For example, like if now with the example of buying a TV, if a user says that they feel overwhelmed, maybe you could ask them like, why do you feel overwhelmed? Maybe they'd say like, I feel overwhelmed because the manual is technical, like what I'm supposed to do with. So from there, you'll be able to know like how like what is making them to feel the way that.
Go back to why they're even thinking that. If they tell you they think what they feel. I think there's some. Thanks, guys. Now to sum it up, it's more of, it's even how they say it. They could be like, I think, or I suggest, or I've been feeling this about this TV. I feel it won't work. Then sometimes the think and the feel usually has like a very narrow line. But yeah, that's from what you guys have said. That's how like I'd also put it. We good?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, just a question.
Yes.
Would you also say for you to really empathize with someone, you will need to be curious about how it will be if it were you. Being curious.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I didn't get your question. Please rephrase.
Well, for example, someone is going to buy a TV. For you to really understand what they're feeling, wouldn't you need to be curious? You will need to think, if it were me, maybe this is how I would think. If it were me, I would ask such kind of questions. Maybe what is the best brand? What are others saying about it? Such things.
Someone from the team, please. Someone should.
I guess I'd be really careful about that type of thinking, especially because you need to understand at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about the user. And most of the time, if you take that line of thought, there'd be a chance where you would impose your own thinking or your own likes without, you need to have a balance between the both of that without putting too much emotion into it. You need to think about the user first.
Thank you. Someone that has a different thought around that? Should.
Yeah, I think you also need. I think you also need to be curious, because as a designer, you need to do research, and to do research, you need to be curious. For example, this one for buying TV, you have to understand. You have to be curious about different type of screen. Kuna zile OLED, QLED, LCD. You have to be curious to know them. And so when it comes to giving the user feedback or a suggestion or a conclusion, you'll be able to make the right judgment. You have to be curious. But again, you have to put the user in mind. Isikuwe unafanya juu yako, unafanya for the user. Yeah.
User. Awesome. Great. Allow me skip then. Please, you can drop answers in the chat. The rest of the guys, please. So it's all. We cover quite a couple things. So the thing I wanted to do is build an empathy map. So we see how it actually comes into being. This is a situation. So I'm about. It will take around 10 or so minutes. So this is a situation where this is a problem, and I'd want us to solve the problem this way. So we'll get people should answer us, and then I'll answer, and people on the other side. Okay, I've used people a lot. So this is me. I am Michaela. I'm now being this user. These are the questions that are going to lead into building an empathy map. So you guys can listen to how I answer them and pick out points, and then I'll ask you guys what you guys think and what you picked out from the answers that I gave. So who will ask the first question? I mean, from this scenario. Someone?
Hi, are we asking the same questions that are in the chat?
There's a question here on the presentation, the UXR questions. I want to answer them. Yeah, sorry?
So we just ask the same questions there.
Yeah, and then I want
you as Michaela.
Yes, I'm Michaela now. Please pardon my voice.
Okay. Can you describe your current situation, your current work situation, how you take care of your dogs?
Good. I'll be reading somewhere so that you guys can pick out something. So I work as a teacher and I coach volleyball after school. So my puppies are called Reggie and Snowball are often left home alone for long periods of time. My partner works on call in a hospital, which often means 12-hour day or night shifts. When our schedules overlap, we definitely need help walking Reggie and Snowball. I've answered the first part. Then the second question, what challenges I face managing the care of my dogs, and how does it make me feel? Oh yeah, the question on feeling and thinking, we can shoot them in the questions that we'll be asking. So in this case, am I still on the call?
Yes, sure.
I think so. So I love my dogs. They have so much energy. If it was up to them, they'd go on 5 days walk. But with our schedules, it's hard to take them out as much as we like. I can manage taking them out first thing in the morning and again in the evening. Sometimes I pay my next door neighbor's 17-year-old son to walk them. But the real issue comes from our travel schedule. My partner and I like to take a lot of trips, and we can't always take our pets with us. Planning our trips would be much easier if we could book a dog walker. Then the other one, is there any way in which you feel these challenges could be resolved? Now, you see, we've asked the user, the person we're interviewing, like they suggest what they think could be solutions. So a scenario here would be, I'd love to find a dog walker that I could pre-screen and learn more about, and I'd love a way to book someone consistently. Maybe someone who can do weekends regularly and can commit to specific times while I'm working. Ideally, I could schedule dog sitting days in advance. I just need a consistent dog walker that I can screen to make sure they're safe and good with animals. I'm willing to pay a little more to get something like this instead of constantly requesting help from my neighbor. Are we able to pick out points that we could place in this map?
Yes.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that I said?
Okay, so the first one, I'd go with the safe. You have 2 dogs, and you have a very tight schedule, so walking them is a difficulty. So the think I'd go with you're trying to find a way of having your dogs walked, and then the third one, the do, I'd go with you having someone, your neighbor's, is it the neighbor's friend to walk your dogs? And then the last one is the feel. Okay, maybe someone can go with the feel. I didn't get a feel from it.
On the feel part, I noted that she's sad. She used the word alone, like she feels the dogs are being left alone, so she's probably sad, and she's concerned when she says about how the husband is working on a day and night shift. Yeah, so I think she's sad and concerned.
Thanks. Someone shoot the last one, then I'd show you finals.
Okay, can I try?
Yes, Paminas.
Yeah, so for Daz, I think she takes out her dogs early in the mornings, if I heard you correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. That's for the Daz. Okay. Sharon, 1 point.
For things, I have 3 points for the things. The first one is she thinks of planning. She thinks that planning is much easier. And then the second one, she thinks of finding a dog walker. And then the third one, she thinks of getting someone consistent. And then maybe if I can add for the feel, I can say she's insecure because she talked about the dog's safety somewhere, if I'm correct, if I got it right.
Awesome. Great. I want to jump to the almost the end. Thanks. That's all within the same way. Like you've picked out a point, even if you haven't managed to go around the cubes, like they said, around the circle. But at least you could pick out some things like I want to travel, but I can't because like I can't go for long. Yeah, that's also a problem I'm having because I want a pet, but I know I travel a lot and I move and I can't be moving with it every time. So now, like, yeah, that's how now we feel. Like I feel it could be left, it could be injured, the food could get depleted, such kind of things. So I'd left out some places to fill out, but we may not fill them, but you can fill them when you get this. I'll share the actual Figma file. So it has these things. So, and ideally, this is what now, from my view, this is what we'd pick as for Michaela's problem. So they work as a full-time job, which someone didn't see. And then, yeah, someone mentioned that they do walk their dogs morning and evening. They pay a neighbor. That means that they're willing to pay for the solution, so it can't be free. Some of the things that we could be getting from here. Some of the things would be the think side, the top right would be they want a consistent dog walker. They don't know enough people to ask them to walk their dogs, and dog walking is expensive. A lot of things. What they actually say. So for the say part, it's best if it's said directly, like quote what they said. Idea something like, I'm not sure how I would know who's safe to allow in my home or who's good with dogs. That's why they maybe need screening, like see a list of people, and now when they have trust issues, we could now start thinking of solutions to have that. Maybe their reviews or their ratings and such things. Yeah, and then on the field side, they'd feel guilty if they can't take their dogs for walks, and so many things. This will be available when done. Yeah, so ideally, the importance is to help segment and identify groups of people with similar tendencies. So in this case, we pick all the empathy maps that we've built for the different people, and then group them now together. All the things together, all the fields together. It's called an aggregated empathy map. I think, the insights in aggregated empathy maps allow designers to identify themes, which helps them better empathize with the groups they are designing for. Yeah, I wouldn't want to ask for a question there. I'd maybe move to the next one so that I shall give time for questions towards the end. So the other thing is now identifying pain points from the empathy map, because we drafted questions. Our research goals. We did interviews. Then we now took the insights that we got into empathy maps and we put them, and now we need to pick out the pain points. I'm still fine. So there are different ways where people could all the time mistake for pain points and solutions. So pain points are issues that frustrate the user and block them from getting what they need, and it's a need, not a want. And a pain point is also an issue relevant to a given user. Maybe it could be a pain point to me, and it's not. If I'm conversant with Nairobi streets, it wouldn't be a pain moving around. But say Florence doesn't know Nairobi pretty well, So that's a pain point that that needs to be solved for them. So pain point is not necessarily for everyone. But it could be like it gives like an issue. It's an issue to a relevant or a given user, like one or two, and then now we generalize with the rest. Then a solution attempts to address a pain point, either by remedying the pain point or root cause of the pain point. So in this case, remedying is now like, okay, this is the pain, this is the issue. How do we work with it in short term? And then the root cause is the 5 whys, which I believe were covered in the previous sessions under foundations. Yeah, now it goes back. So yeah, there's a task here. Feel free to just unmute and answer. So identify a pain point and a solution. So there are two similar, not similar, but closely related points here. So shoot, feel free, which is a pain point and which is a solution, like one answer each. Anyone? Like the first two, the next two, the other two, that way, for the 5 versions.
Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I need to connect with my family located far away.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to connect with my family, but they're far away.
Mm-hmm.
So my pain point is I can't connect with. Huh?
Someone, please don't raise hands. Just unmute and speak.
Okay, hi Kevin.
Hi.
I think I can help her before I give my point.
Yeah.
Okay, she has mentioned a solution, number 3, sorry, where somebody is quite far from the family. The solution is the remedy is to create a video conference platform to help him or her connect with the family who is located far away.
Mm-hmm.
And mine is 6, where somebody's leg is bleeding, and the solution is they need a bandage to cover the bleeding wound. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Another, okay, number 9 and 10, which is the pain point, which is the solution.
Hi.
Hi. Yes.
I think for number 9, it would be I need to get to New York. I need to get from New York to Paris. So that's the pain point. I need an airplane.
And the airplane ticket is the solution. Awesome. I think we've mastered the art of pain points and solutions. So you must realize pain points will start with I need to keep my food cold on a road trip. So if I need to do that, then what would be the solution? So that means I need a cooler to store and keep my food cold. The same way, I need to make a 1/4 inch hole. That means I need a drill bit as a solution. Yeah. So I need to is the pain point, and the other need is now the solution. There are a couple pain points here, which I won't dive deeper into them. There is the financial, which is money related. Do I keep losing money during transaction costs? That could be like a pain point when I'm transacting. So if we're maybe solving a solution for M-Pesa, would be I need maybe to pay directly from my bank or somewhere to some other place without having to go like double steps. That would be like a pain point, a financial pain point. Then there are product pain points, which are related to the quality issues. Then the process, which is related to the user's journey. Is it when they're about to check out at a purchase process? That's a process pain point. Then they have support. You've gone to maybe a site has a customer service and a customer success chatbot, but then when you're going into it, it's not working. So that's another support pain point. So that's how like we could split them. If you find something you want to put through, please just excuse yourself because I'll be moving a bit faster now. So another task here, which of the following is an example of a pain point? Someone? It could be a couple answers, not one. Someone?
Unresponsive touchscreen options.
Struggling to read the small text.
In and out. Okay. Thank you.
Discovering the chat function on a site is switched off during the tested hours of operation.
What of the first one? Thank you.
Struggling the small text in an app.
The first one. Receiving an update via email about a product's availability. Is it a pain point?
No, it is not.
It is not a pain point. Yeah, it's a solution. Cool. Awesome. Another one. How can Empathy Map help UX designers understand a user's perspective?
It can convey to UX designers what users think, say, feel, and do to understand what users actually need from a product. That's B.
That's B, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think C is valid? Someone?
I don't think it's valid because it's not the work of UX designers to market products.
I think it's valid.
It is.
Valid. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's valid?
Well, because the empathy map will also help us to identify different, it's like just to help us group users into different groups. These who want this kind of maybe processes, and the others want certain activities also. It will also help us group, basically.
But will it help us market as it's okay? Yeah, please.
Yes, it will. I think I can help somewhere. It will help us marketing the product in such a way. I have different people who want different solutions, but me as the designer, I'll figure out how to create a solution that can handle both these groups together, and these groups will help me to market the design, the product, sorry.
Thank you. But I really don't think marketing the product is a UX designer's role. So it'd be ish. Sorry, am I back?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, sorry. I dropped off. But yeah, I don't really think C would be an accurate answer. We can give like a 50-50. But I feel B, because we talked about an empathy map and it has the think, the say, the feel, and the do.
Because here we're looking at perspective. So I don't think this aspect of marketing a product to a different group of users is applicable.
Yeah, me too. I also think that because the user doesn't know if the product belongs to them or not. Because you're viewing it from a user's perspective. Thanks. I think one of the other ones is which of the following is an example of a process pain point. Yes. A process pain point. Someone? Yes.
Can you go back to the previous question?
Yes.
Option A. It can help UX designers assume what the users want. I remember somebody mentioned that as UX designers, all we do is assume, like we use the assumption technique in gauging what the user needs. So can we say it's a wrong or a valid answer?
It's a wrong answer. Because we have to understand, we look at the last part of the statement, understand a user's perspective. But the assumptions are there, but most of the time we avoid making assumptions unless it's like on the fly.
And you also mentioned that a pain point has to be a need and not a want.
Yeah. Yeah, you can live without a want, but you wouldn't live without a need. Like basic needs or basic wants. Okay, interesting. I think I have. So I'll skip. This is the last one I'm asking, please. User faces difficulty adding an item to an online shopping cart. User encounters a paywall pop up in the middle of a digital article. Is that what friend? Yeah, yeah.
The answer is A. User faces difficulty adding an item to an online shopping cart.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Then what are the rest types of things? Please drop comments on the chat. I'll be checking them. Yeah, please drop comments in the chat. Yeah, I'll keep that. Then I'll brush off on the personas. They're just fictional users, but we can't build them from scratch. We need to build them based on the research. So you see, it's a process. We started with the with the research goals. We did the interviews. We did the empathy maps. We identified pain points, and now we're now equating. We're now like equating now to different personas. So personas really help put a face to the user so that we know this is the kind of person we're solving this problem for. They help humanize the users. They give stakeholders a clear idea of who their users really are and makes the user experience more meaningful. So it's easier to explain to someone that we're building a product for the old. Why? Because we can give an example of a persona. So we won't build on a persona, but this is a template. Like just add an image, then something that they like saying, like a quote about them. Find something. Have an idea of a quote someone would be saying, then their goals, and then their frustrations, and a scenario that conveys the journey, the highlights, the goal, the frustrations. Just like brief story in it. Then there's the age, the education, the hometown, the family, and occupation. These, especially the age, education, hometown, family, occupation, help us know what kind of a person we're building this product for. I mean, there are different things. I believe maybe a baby shark app for babies wouldn't be worth for parents, such kind of things. Understanding who the person is and what their levels, the family setup, and such, and occupation as well. So we know, do they have time to scroll through the feed or not? This was a task I'd set up to go through, which we won't. I'll have to skip that. But ideally, this is how now we'd answer it. We'll find these answers back in the deck. Yeah. Question just there? Any question?
Can you have multiple personas? It has to be one.
No, you need to have multiple personas because you're not solving a problem for yourself or rather one person. How will you make revenue out of a solution for one person unless you're building what's it called? The US president's beast car. That's when you can have like one persona, because it's just one product for one user. But then now, eventually, you need multiple personas to understand diversity as well.
Is there a limit?
Sorry?
Is there a limit as to the number of personas?
Someone share? Do we need a limit for the personas we can have?
I don't think there is a limit, because you are solving a problem to as many people as they experience the problem. So if this problem is particular to so many people, hata kama ni 1 million, then that is the number of people you want to target with that solution.
Okay. I wanted to ask a question.
Does that mean we have 1 million personas?
Oh, you can't have 1 million personas.
It's too much.
No, I know that's because when you've asked about the limit, and then you're saying like there's no limit, then
there should be.
Can I? Sorry.
Can I answer the question?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Someone was answering?
Two of us went at the same time. Okay, just an opinion. You create persona based on the user groups you formulated from the data you collected, from the information you collected from the users.
Is it a question or are you stating?
Now I'm trying to answer the person who. Yeah. If you can have a number.
Yeah, from the groups. But on most cases, I've always seen user personas being like 2, 3, 4, at most 5. Because you can't be building a solution for everyone, I think. Please drop other points in the chat as well. Yeah. Now for Google, that's a hard one, but they have solutions for everyone. So, but they must have a couple of them, and especially I like about what I like about Google is they go all the way until they cover inclusivity and disability as well. Yeah. So we move. So user stories towards the verge are. It introduces the users, lays out an obstacle, and sets the ultimate goal. So this is the person, a user. There's a goal and there's a conflict that they're trying to solve. That's like how a user story is like. It's a fictional one-sentence story told from a persona's point of view, to inspire and inform design decisions. So it usually looks like this. As a dash type of user, I want to dash action so that I get a benefit. So it helps prioritize design goals, unite around a clear goal, and it's usually a user-centered approach towards things. And it keeps the problem user-centered, actionable, and clear. Like just one statement should give you a story and to help solve a problem. These are sample user stories. As a frequent traveler, I want to hire a consistent dog walker so that I can feel comfortable about the safety of my pets while I'm on vacation. As a dog owner, I want to trust the dog walker so that I can hire them for regular dog walks, and couple and more. So you can always see them. So it's as a type of user, I want to action so that I achieve a benefit. So in the long run, this action is what we'll be designing for. And this action is like the actual design solution that helps them achieve these benefits. The benefits is now like the goals from my side, from how I think about it. I'll skip that. Finally, a problem statement is just a clear description of a user's needs that should be addressed. And there are a couple characteristics. It could be human-centered. It also needs to be broad enough for creative freedom, and also narrow enough to be solved by a design. You can go both ways, narrow and broad, both at the same time. There are benefits here where we establish goals. I think I should show this first before I give this. So this our problem statement is ideally structured. There's a username. Is /an something. The user characteristics, who needs something because they want insights. An example, sorry? Someone speak? Okay. Then we move back to benefits, where it creates benchmark for success, like what needs to be achieved. When we already have a problem statement, it's easier to know how even we'll measure success because we've already defined what we want to achieve. It helps provide clarity about users' goals and helps designers identify constraints that prevent users from meeting those goals. It's from this problem statement that we can figure out the trade-offs, the constraints, the assumptions, everything, put them together and then develop a problem statement. And then now we can start solving it as we move. Yeah, like I mentioned, it also helps measure success in it and also define deliverables, what will be the eventual thing that we want to produce. I apparently I think I missing a slide that has the problem statement, but you could, I'll add it before I share the slide. Then this is the most common way of generating a problem statement. The 5 W's and 1 H. Who is experiencing the problem? What are the pain points they're trying to solve? Where is the user when they're using the products? A physical context could matter in this case. When does this problem occur? Does it occur when during a process or the start or the onboarding? And then why is the problem important? This way we know how we'll help clarify the potential consequences of solving this, and how are users reaching their goals by using the product. This helps understand how users reach their goals and allows you to map the user journey that they may take through the product. So it's always like a process. So it helps give you like an idea of who you're solving for, what the problems, where when a lot more. Maybe you can research more on the 5 W's and 1 H. This was the last one, the last task, where we're answering the 5 W's. So think about a mobile app that you like to use in your daily life. Then answer. Write down a problem statement of who, the what, the where, the when, the why. Someone towards the end could try share that. Someone wanna share about an app they like to use, who end up maybe a problem that is in it.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello. Yes. Someone.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
I'd like to try.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I commonly use the Zoom app. So I tend to host a lot of meetings when I'm trying to do trainings from my workplace. So the main challenge experience is with the Zoom app is that most of my users experience a slow connection. So that is the problem. The second is the problem shows up especially when there's a lot more users than expected. Like if I have, I was supposed to host 20 and then I decide to invite maybe 50, the problem becomes persistent for everyone else. And so that's when the problem occurs. And lastly, why is the problem important? It's important because most of my users fail to get what is meant to be said in the meeting. So if they experience that connection issue, it becomes a problem for most of them. So yeah, so those are my 5 Ws.
Nice. I like that. Nice. I like how you mentioned how it goes. Thank you. Someone else? I see Ali, Gloria, Florence. Your hands are up. You want to answer? Want to try? I bet not. Yeah. Think of them, try solve yourself. Think of solutions. Think of this scenario where you encounter a problem and how maybe just trying to identify the problem that you're experiencing. I think we are done. I'm really sorry that we had to rush towards the end, but everything will be shared after the session. You can always reach out. Yeah. Davis might. Oh yeah, questions. Sorry. Any questions?
Today we have talked about empathizing with the user, and I was just wondering if that has anything to do with psychology.
Someone wanna share? From what we've learned today.
I think the whole process of empathizing with the user has to do with psychology. You have to get into the mind of the user. That's what I think. Kind of, it's psychology. I'm not deep into that, but that's what I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also think the same. Maybe a bit more of anthropology, which is like understanding human behaviors as well, so that you know even how to prompt the right answers out of them. Yeah. Good. I think I want to call it a day. If anyone, oh yeah, there are prizes. Davis, where's Davis?
Yeah. So.
So, according to how the conversation has been today, we should do reward.
It's a bit difficult, but I'd say we have Florence Odindo. Then Rose Okech has been also very active. And then to balance things out because of the male species, I think Sabisa Poland can be the third. Yeah.
That's nice. I'm not Ruben. I don't work in Safaricom. I can read you credit cards. But you guys can drop your numbers on the chat. Just drop them directly. I think you can do a direct. Okay, I don't know. But just find ways, or you can just tweet me on Slack any point. Yeah, it was nice hanging out with you guys. The session has been really helpful. I've also learned a lot from you guys. The way I thought maybe there's what one knows, and then there's what another person knows, and then when you come together, we start sharing information. So it's not a tutor, rather someone teaching and someone feeling. It's more all of us learning together. It's an experience. Like we could listen out for answers from different people that maybe influence how I even think and how you think as well. And yeah, it's been nice. Like I really feel nice. Like a lot. Yes. Then I think we're good. Yes, I'm actually zipping the file into PDF after this session and then drop it on Slack in a thread that was shared there. So yeah, everything that I've shared, I'll drop it there, even where I've got some of the resources from. I'll also share that. Oh yeah, Winnie shared the link. That's where it will be at. Something else, you guys?
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys for showing up, and yeah, I'm really glad. This was amazing. Guys, buys, Winnie, mind taking over?
Oh yeah, so thank you everyone who showed up, and we have another session coming up on Thursday at 8, still on the UX process. So see you then, and have a blessed night, everyone. Thank you. Asante sana.
Great, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Florence or Dindo, maybe you can give your number before you leave.
Okay.